Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am. Today's report, we're going to discuss about geographical perspective in the Philippines. Number one, understand what tourism geography is and its role. The Republic of the Philippines was named the Filipinos to honor King Philip II of Spain in 1543. The Philippine Islands was the name used before independence. Location and geography. The Republic of the Philippines, a nation of 7,107 islands with a total area of 111,830 square miles, 307.55 square kilometers, is located on the Pacific Rim of Southeast Asia. Luzon, the largest islands with one-third of the land and half the population, is in the north. Mindanao, the second largest island, is in the south. Visayas is located at the heart of the Philippines. The country is bordered on the west by the South China Sea, on the east by the Philippine Sea, on the south by the Celebes Sea, and on the north by the Luzon Strait, which separates the country from its nearest neighbor, Taiwan. The closest nation to the south are Malaysia and Indonesia. Vietnam and China are the nearest neighbors on the mainland of Asia. The islands are volcanic in origin. Mount Pinatubo in central Luzon erupted in 1991 and 1992 because the country is volcanic. The small islands have a mountainous center with coastal plains. Luzon has a broad central valley in the northern provinces along the Cagayan River and plains in the middlelands near Manila, the capital. Mindanao and Panay also have central plains. Northern Luzon has two major mountain ranges, the Sierra Madres on the eastern coast and the Cordilleras in the center. Demography. The average life expectancy is 67 years. 4% of the population is over age 65. The most populous area of metropolitan Manila, where 8 million to 10 million people live. Linguistic affiliation. The official languages are Filipino, based on Tagalog with words from other native languages, and English, since only 55% of residents speaks Filipino fluently. English is used in colleges, universities, the courts, and the government. The country's 70 to 80 dialects are derived from Malay languages. Three dialects are of national importance: Cebuano in the southern islands, Ilocano in the north, and Tagalog, the language of the National Capital Region. When Tagalog was chosen as the basis for a national language, Filipinos are proud that their country has been third largest number of English speakers in the world. Filipino English includes many Australian and British terms. It is a formal language that includes words no longer commonly used in American English. Spanish numbers and some Spanish words are included in the dialects. Symbolism. National symbols have been emphasized since independence to create a sense of nationhood. The Philippine eagle, the second largest eagle in the world, is the national bird. Dr. Jose Rizal is a national hero. Rizal streets and statues are found in most towns and cities. Several municipalities are named for Rizal. The most prominent symbol is the flag, which has a blue horizontal, a red horizontal band, and a white field. The flag is flown with the blue band at the top in times of peace and the red band at the top in times of war. Flag ceremonies take place once a week at all governmental offices. Schools have a flag ceremony in each morning. All traffic stops while the flag is being honored. The national anthem is sung, a national pledge is recited in Filipino, and the provincial hymn is sung. Emergence of the nation early inhabitants are believed to have reached the area over land, bridges connecting the islands to Malaysia and China. The first people were the Negritos, who arrived 25,000 years ago. Later immigrants came from Indonesia. After the land bridges disappeared, immigrants from Indo to China brought copper and bronze and built the rice terraces at Banawi in northern Luzon. The next wave came from Malaysia and is credited with developing agriculture and introducing carabao or water buffalo. as draft animals. Trade with China began in the 1st century CE. Filipino ores and wood were traded for finished product. The occupation by Spain and the unifying factor of Catholicism were the first steps in creating upon a national identity. Filipino becomes interested in attaining independence in the middle of the 19th century. National identity. Filipinos had little sense of national identity until the revolutionary period of the 19th century. The word Filipino did not refer to native people until the mid 19th century. Before that period, the treatment of the islands as a single governmental unit by Spain and the conversion of the population of Catholicism were the unifying factors. As the desire for independence grew, a national flag was created, national heroes emerged, and a national anthem was written. A national language was designated in 1936. National costumes were established. The sense of a national identity is fragile, with true allegiance given to a king, group, province, or a municipality. Ethnic relations. 95% of the population is of Malay ancestry. The other identifiable group is of Chinese ancestry. Sino-Filipinos are envied for their success in business. They have maintained their own schools, which stress Chinese traditions. 70 to 80 language groups separates people along tribal lines. Approximately 2 million residents are designated as cultural minority groups protected by the government. The majority of those 60 ethnic groups live in the mountains of northern Luzon. People whose skin is darker are considered less capable, intelligent, and beautiful. Descendants of the Negritos tribe are regarded as inferior. Urbanism, architecture, and the use of space. The architecture of the island showed Spanish influence. Spanish brick churches built during the colonial era dominate the towns. The churches are large and different from traditional construction. It is difficult to imagine how the indigenous population in the 17th century was able to build them. Seaports and government centers had a larger proportion of Spanish buildings, with wide verandas and tiled roofs. Towns destroyed during the Liberation Campaign in World War II, especially in central and northern Luzon, were rebuilding using wood. Areas of Manila destroyed during World War II have been restored to their historical Spanish appearance. Newer buildings in Manila range from standard multi-story offices to Western-style gated housing areas for their affluent, to tenements and shacks. Traditional houses in rural areas are nipa huts, constructed of bamboo and roofed with leaves from palm trees or corrugated metal. The blocks are plastered and painted on the inside and outside when funds permit.
Hi everyone, my name is Crystal Bombeo. Now I'm going to continue the report of Ms. Lerio about the understand what tourism geography is and its role in a Philippine culture and tourism geography. Fruits. Fruits are abundant all year. Several kinds of fruits are eaten including red and green varieties. Mangoes is the national fruit and it is sweet and juicy. Fruit salad with a condensed milk and coconut milk is very popular in special occasions. The leaves of kamote, known for as a kamote, is a sweet potato used as a salad and soup ingredients. Halo-halo, which means mixture. It is a popular dessert that consists of layers of corn kernels, ice cream, small gelatin pieces, cornflakes, and shaved ice. Fast food has become part of the culture with national and international chains in many towns. All meals at fast food restaurants include rice, although French fries also tend to be on the menu. A national chain Jollibee has entered the U.S. market with a restaurant in California, where many Filipino immigrants live. Food custom at ceremonial occasions. Lechon, a suckling pig that has been roasted until the skin forms a hard brown crust. It's served at important occasions. The inside is very fatty. Strips of the skin with attached fat are considered the best species. Blood drained from the pig is used to make dinuguan. Sticker rice, prepared with coconut milk and sugar cane syrup, is wrapped in banana leaves, called kakanin. Now let's move on the basic economy. Agriculture, forestry, and fishing are the occupation of 40% of the 30 million people who are employed. Light manufacturing, construction, mining, and the service industries provide the remainder of employment opportunities. People work 7 days a week and take additional jobs to maintain or improve their lifestyle or pay for a child's education. Laws govern. Law govern hours of work, insurance coverage, and vacation time, but workers may be exploited and mistreated. Land, tenure, and property. 19% of the land is arable, 46% consists of forest and woodlands. Now let's move on to deforestation. By legal and illegal loggers with no tree replacement has reduced the number of trees. There is an ongoing demand to clear forests to provide farmland. Environmentalists are concerned because timber is destroyed at random, eliminating the homes of endangered species of plants and animals. Commercial activities. The local market is a key factor in retail trade. Larger municipalities have daily markets, while smaller communities have market once or twice a week. Markets are divided into a dry market where clothing and household items are sold, and wet market where food is sold. Shopping malls are found in the most provincial capitals. Major industries. Metropolitan Manila is the primary manufacturing area with 10% of the population living there. Manila and the adjacent port are the best equipped to ship manufactured goods. The province produces processed foods, textiles, tobacco products, and construction materials. Now let's move on about the tourism in the Philippines. Tourism. Tourism has been major player in economics and social development. The industry is able to perpetuate and become a major business and employment provider for many Filipinos. The country is known for having its rich biodiversity as its main tourist attraction. Its beaches, heritage towns, and monuments mountains, rainforests, island, and diving spots are among the country's most popular tourist destinations. The country's rich historical and cultural heritage, including its festival and indigenous traditions, are also one of the attractions of the Philippines. Popular destinations among tourists are Cebu, Boracay, Palawan, Siargao, Baguio, and many more. Philippines has garnered numerous titles related to tourism, namely, first is the traditional capital of the world's festivities, second, the capital of the Western Pacific, third, the center of Hispanic Asia, fourth, the pearl of the Orient Seas, and next, the center of the Coral Triangle. Next is the capital of fun. And last, the country is also a biodiversity hotspot, having a world's highest endemism rate for bird species and one of the highest for mammals and flora. It is also largest bastion for Roman Catholicism in all of Asia. The country is also a home to one of the new 7 wonders of nature. It is also home to 6 UNESCO World Heritage sites scattered in 9 different locations. The following are the portion of Filipino culture that separates us from some other countries. We are tough. We invest wholeheartedly in our family. We are very religious. We are respectful. Help each other. We esteem custom and culture. We love to party and we love to eat. We have the longest Christmas festivities and we love to purchase new things like devices. And last is we love sing and dance. In summary, this lesson or video will first describe the brief overview of the Philippines, its culture, traditions, and geographical feature. Second, emphasize the characteristic of the Philippine tourism in relation to culture. And lastly, determines some of characteristic of the Filipino people. And that could be all. Thank you.
Tourism demand. Tourism demand is defined as the number of people that plan to buy tourism products supported by sufficient purchasing power and spare time in order to meet tourism needs of people. Tourism demands refers to the willingness and ability of consumers to buy different amount of a tourism product at a different prices during any one period. The demand of any tourism good or service is influenced by numerous quantifiable and non-quantifiable factors. According to Cooper et al. 1993, identified two types of demand curves. Number one, direct demand curve. Direct demand curve states that a tourism product can be ascribed to the relationship between two variables like price and quantity. This is a relationship in the economic demand schedule. Number two, inverse demand curve. Inverse demand curve states that the quantity of demand for tourism drops with an increase in the price associated with tourism and vice versa. According to Professor 1994, the character of tourism demand will continue to change. According to Schwanninger, 1989, predicted these changes in tourism demands as follows. A. Tourism demand will continue to grow and become increasingly differentiated. B. There will be greater market specialization and segmentation with a stronger emphasis and more active pastime rather than passive holiday. C. Package holidays will be customized to accommodate greater individual freedom through a modular product design. According to Matthiasson and Weil, 1982, the total numbers of persons who travel or wish to travel to use tourist facilities and service a place away from their place of work and residence. The components of demand. The component of demand is effective and actual demand. Number two, suppressed demand or potential demand and deferred demand. Number three, no demand. Number four, substitution of demand. Number five, redirection of demand. Demand. Demand refers to how much quantity of a product or service is desired by buyers. The quantity demands is the amount of a product people are willing to buy at a certain price. The relationship between price and quantity demanded is known as a demand relationship. Supply represents how much the market can offer. The quantity supplied refers to the amount of certain good products are willing to supply when receiving a certain price. Why is tourism demand important? To define the impact factors on tourism demand plays an important part in the promotion of its economic outcome owing to the following reason. Firstly, tourism is an industry that can support poverty reduction in the developing countries and bring opportunities for enhancing the image of the country. Secondly, tourism can generate a higher benefits than trade in developing countries. Number two, Abel and Raux, 2017, argue that tourism can help government expand business opportunities, maintain stable employment, and provide better conditions of communication with their residents. Most of the previous researchers have investigated how tourism affects an economy. Only a few students showed the way to increase tourism capacity. At the moment, the determinants of tourism demand were big challenge of for the researcher. Types of tourism demands. Number one, intrinsic intrinsic tourists. They are into holidaying for the sake of enjoyment. Number two, extrinsic tourists. They have rewarded oriented motivation. These tourists are susceptible to the activities where performance is evaluated. Number three, adventurers. They give very little importance to relaxation. Number four, budget travelers. Their tutoring decision about place, traveling mood, and other related factors are largely dependent on their financial condition. Number five, homebodies. They are mainly relaxed tourists. They do not fit into adventure. Six, moderates. They plan their tour ahead. They have a high inclination towards tourism, but they do not get into sports or adventure activities. 7. Vacationers. They plan during vacation, such as summer break or Christmas break.
Geographical pattern is an actual or perceived pattern related to a specific series of events or occurrences that can be ascribed to a geographical region. An example could be the study of particular fault zone where a researcher may find a pattern in the frequency or intensity of tremors which could suggest a more imminent and powerful event to come. Geographic patterns are similarities among places. The location of large cities near water is one example of geographic pattern. Such observations are focused on a geographic region of interest that could be affected by the future events. One could also draw a perceived pattern when studying the frequency of volcanic activity on the planet, with the majority lying along the boundaries of the Pacific tectonic plate, the notorious Ring of Fire. Even now, researchers are working to assign patterns to changing global climate in hopes of better predicting the long-term effect on the region that will be affected.
Evolution and development of tourism.
What is hospitality? Hospitality is the friendly and generous reception and entertainment of guests, visitors, and strangers. The idea of hospitality is what lies in the center of the tourism industry. The term hospitality has been derived from a French word haspas, which means taking care of the travelers. In old times, locals used to let the travelers rest on kitchen's floor or other extra spaces during their journey. There were no purpose-built resting facilities for tourism until monasteries decided to build one. In 19th century, a lot of inns were established prior 19th century. Inns are small hotels. Lodging was just not about bidding and resting. Elements of luxury started to blend in, and this gave birth to hotels. Hotels emerged as sophisticated facilities which provided better rooms and dining areas. The hotels and inns then started giving more importance to services to stand out different than other hotels. To keep improving their services and facilities, and later on, hotels started to have bars. The architecture and aesthetics of the hotels were improving. There were more multi-story hotels, and they had the beautiful exterior to stand out different from other hotels. In 20th century, beginning of modern hospitality industry. Hospitality, which was rather a part of the culture, emerged as a used business opportunity. A lot of people were approaching architectural design firm to change the hotel design. Architecture by incorporating more and more facilities. Innovation in transportation system enabled more and more people to travel. Some people saw the opportunity and jumped into the hotel business. The industry had become more competitive than ever. In the year 1919, Conrad Hilton opened his first hotel in Texas. Later on, Conrad also bought the Elsewhere Statler's chains of the hotels in the year 1954. Marriott 1927, Sheraton 1937, Yacht in 1957, also emerged as giant player in industry. In 21st century, technological integration. In this new century, the hotels reached the new heights literally. The technological advancement and the engineering design services made it all possible. Founded in the year 2008. Airbnb opened up a new segment in the hospitality industry. It acts as a marketplace connecting people with those who want to rent it. The recent trends in the evolution of hospitality industry favor the construction of hotels which has a classic historic touch integrated with modern services.
Tourism. Tourism, the commercial organization and operation of vacations and visits to places of interest. Travel began in the prehistoric times, but tourism is a recent phenomenon after industrial period. Travel was disorganized, involved few travelers, was not considered a business, and did not have leisure motivation as today. Prehistoric era. Prehistoric period travel. Travel began from early man from 2 million to 20,000 years ago. Homo erectus traveled in search of foods, escaped enemies, expand territory, search for warmth, and etc. The characteristics of travel in this time is that it involved few participants that were not organized, involved explorers, and was not meant for leisure. Ancient era. Ancient time travel was confined around Europe, Middle East, North America, and North Africa. The first guidebook was written in 14th century by Herodotus, which covered Athens, Sparta, and Troy. In the 18th century BC, money was developed by Sumerians and people could use it for trade. There was a commercialized travel along the ocean called Indus Valley Civilization involving Arabs like Gujaratis and Muscat. The form of transport was where transport by ships after the Oceania developed the ship and compass to show direction. Later, there was development of turnpike, which promoted road transport by the use of cart. Middle-aged era. Middle Ages, dark tourism. On the 15th and 16th century, during this time, there was the collapse of the Roman Empire and there was a great insecurity in the world due to fear. People traveled to religious centers in order to appease God. Jerusalem and Mecca became popular destinations. Hindus visited temples. Main motivation for travel was religion. Hospitality facilities were established to cater for accommodation. This was called charitable offer. There was a package tour from Venice to Jerusalem. In Rome, there was establishment of hotel and guidebooks used by tourists.
Renaissance period. Renaissance means revival of art and literature. This time was characterized by great invention of art and more importantly, architecture. Better styles of hotels constructions were innovated and hotels become tourist attractions. Hotels were concentrated close to each other, resulted to growth of early towns as multiply effects. Industrial period. Industrialization contributed invention of technology like railways, steamships, and automobiles which made transport easier. Main contribution of industrial revolution of tourism is the improvement of transport, employment of citizens, and growth of Negro class. This contributed to increased working time and prolonged paid holidays. Increased stress level in industrial lead to need a leisure. As a result, tours operators started packaging inclusive tours with low prices. Modern tourism. Today, tourism is an activity involving many participants, more educated, richer markets, and it is growing at faster rate. It is more organized due to many operations like principals, tours agencies, ground operators. These are involved in manufacturing, wholesaling, retailing, and ground operations business.